Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I have a project pan update for you guys. I should have done this one sooner. We've gone through some products. I try not to do these videos too often because I feel like if there's not a lot of progress, it's kind of boring, but then I waited too long and there was like a lot of progress that I should have been updating you guys on. So let's dive straight in and talk about what's been going on. So I'm gonna start with products that I haven't finished, which are few and far between. So, this powder. So this is the Physicians Formula Mineral Wear Loose Powder. I have the Translucent Light. I have made some good progress on this. I have everything in a box because I have to bring it all to the salon to talk to you guys about. So I drew the lines on everything last night when everything had a chance to kind of settle. So we're about here. So you can see the first little bit, we didn't make a lot of progress, but I feel like I've come down quite a bit since the last time. I'm still pretty confident. I'm hesitant to say confident. I'm hoping that I'm confident that I'm going to use this up by the end of the year. I've been using more powder lately. I kind of went through a phase where I wasn't using a lot of powder, and now I am again. I think because I'm not having to wear a mask all day at work anymore, I am wearing more my foundation rather than always, like when I was wearing a mask all day, I was more wearing just like a tinted moisturizer, you know, because it wasn't as heavy underneath the mask. Why does my hair look like this? It just doesn't look normal. I don't know. Anyway, so now that I'm wearing foundation more often, I am setting my face more often and going through more powder. I don't know. There's no bigger explanation than that. So I'm hoping that by the end of the year, I will finish this one up. We shall see. Next up, we have this eyeshadow palette. So this is the e.l.f. Mad for Mattes in the shade range Nude Mood. Now, I've been trying to pan the first 4 shades in this little palette, and I'm very scared to show it to you because there's some loose pieces. So I've completely used up the first 2. I've hit pan on the 3rd, and the 4th will be gone in a matter of days because, as you can see, it has crumbled inside of the pan. So I'm hoping that by the time I check in with you guys the next time, this palette will either be gone, the 4 colors. I don't use these back ones here. I've mentioned that. You guys have seen the videos. So I'm hoping by the time I check in with you guys next, those first 4 colors will be gone. I'm about ready to move on from this palette now that it's getting kind of like messy, and every time I open it, little pieces fall out. It's kind of becoming a little bit of a nuisance, but I do have quite a bit of this sort of tan color to use up. I'm wearing all of these things on my face today. So I have this sort of peachy pink color kind of in my crease, and then I blended this tan color all on my lid and up into the crease, and then I went over top with like a liquid shadow. So I'm using it regularly. This is kind of my go-to out the door eyeshadow look. I just do that tan color kind of all over my lid, blend it up into the crease, something shimmery on the lid, and off I go. So I'm using it a lot. And then I have this primer here. So this is the Porefessional Hydrating Primer. I have made very consistent progress on this one kind of throughout the project. So I've been pretty much exclusively using this primer. I've mentioned this in many videos. I mentioned this in my most used products video. I'll link that in the description box down below. This is a really good primer. Like, it just, summer, winter, fall, dry skin, oily skin, it just works. This is such a good primer. I am trying to use it up though because Benefit is not cruelty free. But you can see that I've made very consistent progress. So we started up here and we have pretty much the same space between the markings each month. I used this a lot this summer. I did some weddings. I did makeup applications for some weddings, and this was the only primer that I brought with me when I did those because I knew it was going to work for everybody. I know it plays well with all foundations. I know I have never had an issue with this not playing well with a moisturizer. It's just, I don't have to think about it. This one works. So really enjoying it. Gonna use it up to the last drop and then move on to something else. But yeah, I've made some good progress. So by the time we check in the next time, it probably won't be gone, but I would say we'll be, you know, very close to finishing this up by the next check-in. And then we have this lip gloss here. So this is the Chanel lip gloss in the shade 92. I contemplated taking this out of the project for a minute there. So we started way up here. Last check-in, we were only there, but this time I've made some like major progress. So I feel re-motivated, reinvigorated on this lip gloss. I think for a minute there, I was like, maybe I don't like this lip gloss. I was having some issues with like having that white line in your waterline and not really loving the way it looked on my lips, not really loving it as like an on-the-go type of lip gloss, which if this is gonna live in my purse, it needs to be one that I can just slap on. And then I sort of found some ways that I like wearing it better. So I find if I wear too much of it, I'll get that white line. And it does sort of like bleed around the lips because there's quite a bit of color to this one. So what I've been finding that I like to do with this is I kind of apply it to my bottom lip and then I just use my finger to like move it around and cover both lips that way. And I don't get the white line like that. It shears the color out a little bit more, just gives a little bit of shine, feels nice on the lips, lasts pretty well. I'm also finding this layers really well over other lipsticks. So today I have on the Stila liquid lipstick in the shade Patina, and I just have a little bit of this over top of it. And it's made the liquid lipstick so much more comfortable, but I don't find that this one breaks down the liquid lipsticks to where they start sliding around. So finding some new ways to use this, and now I'm really enjoying it. So I think we'll be able to use this up by the end of the year. We're already almost halfway. And then, can you believe that this BB cream is still going strong? It's so funny because in the last video, I asked you guys to comment what you think the next product is that I'll finish up, and everybody commented this one, and I agreed. I was like, yeah, this will be gone. It's not gone. It's not gone. Every time I think it's gone, every time this is the Purlisse Perfect Glow BB cream. I got so excited I didn't even tell you what it was. Every time that I think this is gone, I kind of squeeze a little out of the sides here, like the tube of toothpaste, and I get another application. So this is like the gift that keeps on giving. This is my favorite BB cream I've ever used, and I'm happy that it's still going strong. Honestly, as much as I thought I would have used this one, there's like a fluff floating around my face. As much as I thought that I was going to use this one up this go around, I'm happy that I haven't. I'm enjoying every last little drop of it. I did get the anti-aging version of this in a BoxyCharm recently. I haven't tried that yet. I'm really focusing on using this up, but she's still going strong, baby. We started up here, I think, and I think my next mark was here, and it has worn off because I'm really like handling it a lot, trying to get the product out. So I am confident by the next time we check in that this will be gone. I haven't decided what I'm going to replace it with yet. So in a way, I'm glad that it's not gone because I haven't settled on what I want to focus on using up next. I have a few different sort of open, like tinted moisturizers, BB creams, stuff like that. So I definitely want to take a look at them, maybe look at the expiry dates, kind of see where I'm at with some of those. And that is about the only thing that is going strong. So let's move on to a product that I have decided to move out of the project. And by that, I mean I'm going to declutter it. So this is the Lush Magical Moringa Beauty Balm. I had put this into the project early on because it has an expiry date on it of November 18th, 2021. So I wanted to try and use this up as much as possible before that date kind of came around. And I haven't been using it. I haven't been using it at all. So what's happened is I used this a lot in the winter time. I was enjoying it. I was using it lots. And then the warmer weather kind of came around and I switched from like a regular moisturizer to more of a gel-based moisturizer. And what I found is that this does not play well with gel-based moisturizers. It pills, so it'll just start to roll off and then I have to start all over, and I don't have time to do that in the morning. So I have a gel moisturizer I'm using right now. I have another one that I'm gonna move into next. So truthfully, there's no way that I'm gonna use this up or even make a dent in it by November. So I've decided just to pass it on or throw it away. I haven't decided yet. There is a few months left on it. So I may ask a couple of clients that I have in this week if anybody wants this. But otherwise, I'm just gonna move on with my life. So I've decided to replace that with a makeup item. And the makeup item I've decided to replace it with is the Butter Bronzer. You guys know I love this bronzer. I mentioned it in, again, my most used makeup video. I'll check it out if you didn't see it. I'm probably going to mention that a few times. So I have also been trying to work through some of my products that are no longer cruelty-free. That was my reason for putting this powder in there. That was my reason for putting this primer in there. Products that I love but that aren't cruelty-free that I'd like to sort of use up and move them out of my collection. I use this bronzer all the time. This is sort of my go-to when I'm in a rush, I don't have time to blend, I don't have time to screw around. This is the bronzer that I grab. It's also the one I use most often in sort of the fall and winter because it is a lighter shade. I do tend to have a heavy hand when it comes to bronzer, so this one I don't have to worry about overusing it. So when I was applying this morning, I hit a little baby pan. Can you believe it? The day I put it in the project, we hit some pan. So I was really excited about that. I have never used up a butter bronzer before. I have broken one and gotten rid of it and then replaced it with this one. So I'm excited to use this one up completely. I don't know if I'll be able to use it up by the end of the year, but I definitely can grow that little baby pan that's in there. So very exciting. Everything else is very exciting because I've used up a lot of stuff. Okay, so let's start with this one. So this is the Moroccan Oil Color Depositing Mask in the shade Platinum. I've talked about this many times. I had a lot of treatments on hand, so I used this one up completely. This one was easy to use up because it's a color depositing mask. You need to use a lot of it to make sure you get like lots of coverage on your hair, and I have a lot of hair, right? So I was using quite a lot of this each and every time that I used it. We started about halfway, and I used this about once a week, maybe every other week, depending on how my color was looking. And I really enjoyed it. I will definitely repurchase this in the future, but I have still at least 2 hair treatments kind of on backup that I want to go through first. So really enjoyed this, used it up completely. It's definitely empty. And I've decided to replace it with this. So this is the Rose Quartz hair mask. I got this in a BoxyCharm, and we're starting really just like at the lid. It's pretty full. I've used it a few times, but it's still pretty full. So we're basically starting right at the sort of lip there. I don't think I'll run through this super quickly. This is the type of mask where if you use too much, I actually used a little too much when I used it last, and my hair's feeling a little weighed down. So this is definitely one that you have to use a little more sparingly, whereas this was one that you could just like go bananas. So really love this though. It makes my hair really soft. It really nicely detangles my hair. It's got a beautiful scent. It's kind of a nice like sensorial experience. I do try to do a hair mask once a week. Because this was a color depositing one, I wasn't necessarily using it every week because I didn't feel like my hair necessarily needed to be toned every week. So I think this one will be easier to use consistently because it's just a hair treatment. So I did buy the Moroccan Oil purple shampoo to use with this. So once a week, I'll do my purple shampoo. I'll do my nice hair treatment. My hair will thank me. My ends are very dry. Very, very dry. Okay, there's so many things that I used up. Which thing do I want to talk about next? Let's talk about this product here. So this is the Indeed Labs Hydraluron Volumizing Lip Treatment. Really, really loved this. This was just a really nice, like clear, hydrating lip gloss. You know, I would buy this again. I really liked it. It's so funny because when I first started using it, I was like, nah, it's okay. And because I used it so much, I ended up really, really liking it. So I was kind of sad when it was gone. I definitely want to repurchase this one. I haven't yet. It does go on sale quite often, so I'm just kind of keeping my eye out for it to go on for like $9.99, and I will pick it up. But we started out sort of halfway and we moved down pretty quickly. So I decided to replace that one with a concealer. I'm totally all over the map here, guys. It's a rolling project. I don't feel like I need to replace a lip product with a lip product. I did replace a hair product with a hair product, but that has more to do with the fact that I just have a lot of treatments on hand. So I also have a lot of concealers on hand. So I decided to replace it with this. So this is the Covergirl True Blend Undercover Concealer, and I have the shade Natural Ivory. And we are already sort of scraping the sides. So I didn't bother trying to put a mark or anything like that. But this is sort of my go-to concealer on my days where I'm just doing like a BB cream or something. I just find that you can do a really sheer application of this. You can get really nice full coverage with this, but you can also just kind of do like a dot here and here to give you a little bit of coverage under the eyes, and it shears out really nicely in a way that doesn't make my under eyes look sad and old. So I really like it for that. So I think I'll probably have this gone by the time we check in the next time. And I don't know if I'll replace it with another concealer. We'll see. That's future Jamie's problem. Today's Jamie has decided that this is the one we're going to use up. So there is still lots of product coming out on the wand. I haven't taken the stopper out. I'm concerned I'm going to make a mess if I do that, you know, because it does sort of lay like this in my vanity. So I'm just worried like stuff will start coming out. So anyway, we're going to use up this concealer. We're not too far off from that anyways. Really loving this concealer. It is a hair light on me and a hair cool toned. It's almost got a little too much of a pink undertone to it. I could use something slightly more neutral, but once I use this up, we'll see. Maybe I'll buy another shade in the same range. Okay, and we finally used up the foundation. So this is like a very Physicians Formula heavy project. I really loved their products for a very long time. A lot of their products were like my go-tos, but because they're no longer cruelty-free, as I said, I'm working through them. So we started, my lines keep wearing off. We started like way up here and we're done. Because it's a glass bottle, you can only do so much like scraping inside. There's not a lot of flexibility to get that wand moving around too much. So I've kind of done the thing where I've laid it flat, you know, and like scraped the side, and I'm just over it. I'm over it at this point. Like I feel like I've gotten my money's worth. I've used up as much of this as I possibly can. There's maybe like a half an application in here, but I'm fine. This is gone. So love that. We've used up a foundation completely. It didn't even take us the whole year. And I've decided to replace it with this e.l.f. foundation. So this is the e.l.f., all the words have worn off, but I think this is called the Acne Solutions Foundation, Acne Clearing Foundation, Blemish Control Foundation, something along those lines. I'll have it in the description box down below. But I've had this for quite a while. I really, really like this. I have it on my skin today. It's got pretty high coverage, so I could see myself using this on its own or also mixing it maybe with a tinted moisturizer to add a little bit of coverage to something else. It's a little bit darker than some of the other foundations I have in my collection, so it's a good time for me to try to use this up. I have a tan right now, and the other reason is this one actually does have an expiry date on the bottom. I think because this has salicylic acid in it, they have to put an expiry date, and the expiry is in September of 2021, which is now. So we're gonna use as much of this as we can, hopefully use it up, but I am definitely gonna keep my eye on it in case it turns. If it does turn, of course, I will throw it away. I'm not gonna keep using it, but I used it today, smells fine, looks fine, wasn't separated or anything like that, so it's still going strong. So we're about halfway. Again, these bottles that you can't see through, I had to do like the tap test. I think it's about halfway. So I think we should be able to use this up. It's not a very big bottle. And if I'm mixing it with some other things, I think that will help as well. So I was gonna say confident. Confident's not the word. Hopeful that we're gonna use this up before it expires. And then the last item is probably the most exciting of all, especially if you've been keeping up with my project pans over the last couple of years. So in the last check-in, I had added this highlighter. So this is the Iby Radiant Glow highlighter in the shade 24 Karat Magic, and it's gone. So this was in last year's project pan. I had this in last year's project. I almost finished it up by the end of the year, but I didn't quite make it. So I added it back in on the last check-in, and I did use it up completely, and I loved this highlighter. The only reason I'm so glad that it's gone is because the packaging is broken, and that was just so annoying. It's just, the lid was always bouncing around the drawer. So that's completely gone. And what I decided to replace it with was this blush. So this is the Tigi Glow Blush in the shade Awaken. This was also in last year's project. And then I used this up. You'd think that there's product left. There's not. I was expecting like silver pan, right? So I saw the rings coming through and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna hit pan like any day. No, you know what? It's cardboard. So I actually took my nail one day and started scraping. It's gone. there's no product left in that. So used up 2 products from last year's project before I even had a chance to check in with you guys. So we're making some mad progress on this go around. So what I decided to replace that with is this little blush trio from Alamar Cosmetics. So this is their Colorette blush trio, and it looks like this. I've already hit pan on this shade here, and my goal with this one isn't to use it up, it's to hit pan on all 3 shades. So I've already hit pan here, and I want to hit pan on these 2 as well. So these are some nice sort of orangey tangerine colors that I think are going to be really fun for fall. They also make nice blush toppers because they have a little bit of a glow to them. So they're kind of nice if you do like a cream blush, you know, with your foundation, and then you powder and then you layer on top with these. I think that could be a really nice little moment for the fall. And I don't know, it kind of bugs me that I have pan in one and not the other 2. So I want to even it out. Is that like a weird OCD thing? I'm not sure. So that's the plan with that one. Like I said, once I hit pan on those other 2, I'll probably rotate it out for something else. But are you guys so proud of me? Look at all the progress I made. This is the most successful Project Pan update ever. This year, 2021, I have really nailed it with the Project Pan. I think I learned a lot of good lessons last year of like which products I can use up, which ones are too hard to use up, which ones aren't worth trying, and also like which products I enjoy having in a Project Pan, you know? And I think that's been the biggest thing for me so far, is putting products in that I love using, not just ones that I want to use up and get rid of. So I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments down below how you're doing with your project, if you're doing one, if you're not doing one, is there anything you're trying to use up out of your collection sort of unofficially? So I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon in another video. Bye.